Good evening, everyone. We, the interns of IEEE Kerala Section, brings you the fourth episode of Color Your Space, Make Waves with Words. I'm Anjusha Wilson, and I'll be the MC for this session. Today, we have Sakshi Patel, who is a REM scholar and a graphic designer. She'll be talking all about graphic design. Please put up your queries in the live YouTube chat. At the end of the session, the speaker will clear your queries. Now, over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you so much. Okay, am I audible first of all?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just present. All right. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so basically she has already introduced me, but once again I'll be like, I'm Sakshi Patel, and currently I'm in my final year, and I'm just waiting in for the results. I hope they come out soon. And I have been doing graphic designing since a really long time, and like 4 years now. So moving ahead, first of all, I would like to tell what are we going to discuss today. That is, first of all, my introduction with graphic designing, graphic designing for a layman. Thirdly, we'll be discussing some tips and tricks regarding graphic designing. And fourthly, earning from graphic designing. Now, graphic designing is something which is currently making a lot of passive income, as far as I know, because the people really like to depict themselves, be it memes, be it quotes, and there is a lot of digital marketing happening. And to convey the messages and all, a person definitely requires a pictorial representation, that is basically a graphic. So graphic designers are something which have been booming around the world lately. So moving forward, so in 2018, basically, I had started my graphic designing. A friend of mine, a senior friend of mine who was very close to me, was a graphic design head in a particular professional society, and she needed some help in making ID cards. So I was like, okay, the event is coming soon and you really need the help. Let me just download that particular software and help you with making ID cards. So that is how basically I myself started graphic designing with making ID cards. And today I am at other point in my life regarding, at least in terms of graphic designing. So in 2019, I started doing graphic designing for professional societies across various sections because I was a volunteer. And after that, to move on forward with the societies, I needed to volunteer for something. And I was like, okay, a friend of mine is already doing this particular thing. So I'll just tag along with her. And I started doing graphic designing in those societies. In 2020, during the lockdown, everyone was like, we need to build our portfolios, we need to do a lot of things and all, where they started, applying for the internships, started doing courses and all. So back then I was like, okay, I am already a bit, 10-20% into graphic designing. Let me take up a course, or let me at least apply for some internship. So I got hired in two internships. Uh, and those two internships, one of them was paid. So now there was this reward thing for myself, and the reward mechanism really helps me. So I was like, all right, I'm getting paid for it. So I'll work a little bit more harder. And I ended up working really hard and learning lots and lots of graphic designing. And during that particular phase, I realized that there are lots and lots of graphic designers, and they are way better than me, definitely. And they use various tools. And that is how I got to know about uh, this particular Photoshop and Illustrator. Because when we work in a team, there are various softwares which are used, be it CorelDRAW, be it Photoshop, be it Adobe Illustrator. And it is really, really difficult over the years because I got to understand that CorelDRAW has a different type of layer panels, different type of structure, different type of setup. Photoshop has different, and same way Illustrator has different. Anyways, moving forward, in 2021, I was appointed as the senior graphic designer at an international NGO, that is BNC, where I was the only graphic designer at that moment. And right now, I have more than 10 interns under me. So, luckily, that was something where I learned about graphic designing more, and I had to work with various, old people in NGOs, which made me understand that people are not much aware what graphic designing really is. Because I was given diagrams, like pen and paper diagrams, and this is what we want, and I just had to work around it. And sometimes it won't please them, sometimes it definitely pleased them a lot. So luckily it worked, and it really helped me build my portfolio as it was an NGO. And over the years, working in an NGO is quite helpful when someone wants to move abroad and all. Lastly, currently, that is, I'm freelancing and working as a professional senior graphic designer in a company. It is an overseas company, and I almost make 4 to 5 graphics every day for that particular place. And as of now, I'm a part-time work job employee there, and it also made me, again, I had faced a lot of challenges because the company is again run by people who are new to digital marketing, and it is really difficult to make them understand that this particular thing won't look nice and this particular thing will look nice. So obviously there will be challenges, and obviously I'm still facing challenges despite this entire timeline, but it is just as beneficial as for over the years for development. Okay, I'll move forward. So basically, graphic designing can be done by any particular person, according to me, because I was I was I cannot say that I was a great graphic designer, but I did have some ideas about the color scheme and the a bit about the ideas regarding the creativity and all. So first of all, I would like to tell that there are various softwares across the web internet which can be used. Some of these I use, that is Photoshop, Canva, and Adobe Illustrator. This is Premiere Pro, and apart from that, like some of the versions, all of the versions of Adobe are paid, but one can use the alternative version, that is for Photoshop. There is an online version, that is Photopea. And someone who is starting off with graphic designing, I would definitely recommend them to use Photopea. So first of all, talking about graphic designing for a layman, first I would like to tell that find your motivation. Like everything in life we do, we have a particular intention behind it, a particular benefit from it that we do. So, like, is it simply to create your own personal branding? Like, if someone is an influencer and would like to brandize their, entire thing, so they might be using graphic designing. Or if they are, making a small, having a small business and want to just create a logo, just create a small menu of their items, or anything, list of items, just create simple raffle winners, or simplest of all, just for your personal growth you want to do this, then that can be your motivation. It is to express yourself. As in school, I was quite into arts and all those artisty subjects like social science and all. rather than being a maths science kid. And although I ended up doing engineering, I did find a field of my interest, that is this graphic designing. And probably in future, I'll also pursue UI UX and graphic designing together. So that really helped me because I expressed my creative part of myself in this particular area. Then some people might want to just learn a new skill, and there are other people who would like to opt for a career change because graphic designing is booming, and would some people would definitely love to make a career out of it. And lastly, that is to make money online or even offline for people like me, because it is really helpful, be it a passive income or your direct income. Graphic designing might be your bread and butter at times. Secondly, get passionate about designing, because uh, if you start off with something which you don't like doing, then you won't end up doing it often. So it is better that you start off with something you like to make, like be it memes, be it typography, be it a logo, or even a video game graphic. Start off being passionate about it. Okay, then learn the principles of design. There are six major principles of design which I personally know, that is unity, totality, dominance, space, hierarchy, and balance. These six principles really integrate and come together in a graphic. I myself am someone who has understood this quite later when I had been in graphic designing. And apart from that, it really helps, to understand, like spacing is a really important aspect. Like one needs to let the designs breathe. You cannot put everything and anything into a design. Balance is required for the color scheme, or be it to make it attractive. Then totality is like the entirety of the graphics is there in it, like whatever you want to convey it should be conveyed in the graphics. And hierarchy, that is like, is the graphic moving according to what I want to convey? Like that is also quite important. Find the study design and resources. Find and study design resources. There are various websites. Name any, like freepik.com, that is the most used in our field. And you see, explore. Like I myself use Pinterest for some designs. I really would like to uh, add up a lot of combinations and then make a final design. So I would like scroll through Pinterest before making a design at least. Look for inspiration. So any particular way, there is a lot of inspirations in and around. Even the minor is like, a day before yesterday, when I was coming back home, I just saw a banner, and it really was like striking to me because first of all, it conveyed everything in one go. And banners are something which are put up at the roads, hoardings and all. So there I had to, like, the design just conveyed me what I needed to know whilst I was driving. So it really caught my mind there, because not only do I or anyone in the world would stop to read a board or a hoarding, but that particular design did catch my mind because it conveyed the meaning and the information which it had to in just few seconds. Okay, then like after all of this, when you have done all the self-awareness and all, you should start working on a project. Because if you get a laid back attitude, be it in life or be it in graphic designing, it won't help, because graphic designing is something which will come with the flow. Like it is not purely talent. So just go ahead, start up getting into a project, or start working on a project. It will really help because, excuse me, Okay, it will really help because it will give a flow. Like as I had said that a friend of mine, he needed a graphic designer and in lockdown itself, and I was like, okay, I'm available and okay, I'll do the job for free because I don't know much. So then back then I did the thing for free and I do regret it now, but okay. So anyways, so then back then I just started working on it. He used to amend so many changes and criticize my designs a lot, but I did learn with the procedure. That is a part of it, but I just started working on it on daily basis. Like lockdown was a bad time for all of us, a bit bad time for all of us, but it really helped me over the years because I could invest at least an hour or two behind graphics. And back in those days, I used to like take an hour to create a design, but now it only takes me 15 to 10 minutes in creating a particular design. So it is really helpful for me that way. Okay, differentiate talent from practice. Like as I had said, that it is not purely talent. Over the time, the talent does matter. I will not say that it does not matter. Creativity and all does play an important role. Like you need to be a bit, creative in these terms, like understand a client's requirement, understand the color scheme, and like understanding what will go well with this. It is just like how a stylist would style us. Like this goes well with this particular jeans will go well with this. So it is just that. So talent is just a lot of practice. When we practice something so much, so much, so much, so much, so much, then it is something which becomes a talent. So basically it is ultimately that your practice is only your talent, but there is a minor difference between it. Be patient and consistent. Like as everyone knows, Rome was not built in a day, but everyone should like understand that it will take time. Things do take time, and every good thing takes time. And like there are a lot of courses online, beginner courses like on Udemy, Skillshare, and even YouTube. I myself, even today, if I need some to learn something new, be it Illustrator or be it Photoshop, I tend to use it using YouTube. Like I tend to learn it using YouTube because YouTube is something where I even type how to make my design in circle, and it will show me how to do it. So it is easier and convenient. Also, I would like I have been in this field for 4 years, and I have learned that Photoshop and Illustrator and Corel Draw also, they are quite famous around this particular field. But I also learned that accepting Canva is also a thing where Canva is something which is really helpful for quick designs, and I myself would appreciate people who can use Canva today. I did hate them some time ago, but I understood that it is a it is a thing. It is a software which would make things easier for me. So even Canva, I would consider that a layman should definitely start off from Canva, but just not stick to it. They should go to Photoshop or AI. And even if they cannot afford to get a licensed Photoshop version, they can use online, replacements like Photopea. So these are the main, graphic designing things which for a beginner or a layman who has zero knowledge about it. Okay, moving forward, some tips from my end over the years which I have from learned from graphic designing and learned overall in the field of graphic designing. That is like find inspiration everywhere. uh, just as I had said that I found my inspiration on a particular board, someone might find it on a newspaper ad. There are various ads which are really attractive and really beautiful, or even magazines and all. So inspiration can be found anywhere, be it your brothers or sisters' children notebooks, or be it your entire, curriculum book. So inspiration can be any particular where. It is just how you want to see it. So first of I learned about, using Pinterest for my inspiration. I started creating my mood boards and boards regarding graphic designing, that okay, for particular event probably I should use this, because as I was serving in IEEE also for since 2018 itself, I had learned graphic designing and I volunteered for it too. And it really taught me that everyone there will definitely be creative differences which would create creative conflicts. So everyone is different, but the inspirations will really matter. And as a graphic designer, you should be someone who can combine everyone's inspiration and make it one. Okay, so analyze the design process. Like each particular brand, each particular company has their own designing process. Like in the NGO where I had worked, it was a different design process. It is like they would prepare a monthly schedule, and I would be assigned some graphics in that particular month, and I would have to pre-prepare them, and the content and everything would be provided. Whereas where I'm working right now, the graphics are not pre-decided or pre-planned. Rather, they are, told me on that particular date, said that Sakshi, we need this graphic. Sakshi, we need this graphic. So the designing process there is entirely different, and in other place it is entirely different. So it really matters how, each particular company has their own way of working, and practice makes a man perfect. That is like everyone tells that, but it really really helps. Practicing really helps. Like even when back in 12th standard when we were doing integration, and we were told that practice more sums so you'll understand which formula to use. In this particular field also it is like that only. Practice more so one can understand what you want to convey. Because working in different companies, I realized that each client is really different from the other. One might really want to focus on the content, one might really just want to focus on the graphics, and one might just want to be there in the digital market, so they are doing it. So understanding that takes a lot of time. I myself, after being employed in my latest job, I realized that it took me nearly a month to understand what my client was really asking me for, what they needed from me. Okay. So that is what I learned over the years with the help of practice. It would have not come to me if I had not worked with various clients, if I would have not entertained various clients. Recently, I am working on a menu for a friend's mother. So she is a home housemaker, and she has her own requirements. Her graphic did not want to be as attractive as possible, but it just wanted to convey what she was going to tell the people, what she needed to convey. Whereas where I work, they want the graphics to attract the students to that particular institution. So it really affects, because understanding comes with practice. The fourth point is learn design terminology. Trust me, I'm really bad at it. I'm still learning, but I learned that it is really necessary to learn this, because this particular field, I will not be the only graphic designer. And if anyone who would have worked with me knows that I tend to work on calls or in person. So so then I would be like, do this, do this, do this, and then I'll be like, can't you see this particular tool? वो ऐसा arrow जैसा है. And my and on the phone the guy might be like, Sakshi, that my version is different, your version is different. Please explain me what particular tool you are talking about. So then I realized that, okay, Sakshi, that you are going to learn with a lot of people, and I mean, work with a lot of people. So it is better that you learn the terminologies, because I had to address that particular tool at that particular time. So addressing that was really difficult. So it would be better that, a bit of, one should, see that, uh, see some YouTube videos and all. And it really helps, like a specific YouTube video, even if you see, it will really help you to, interact with other graphic designers. Because ultimately you might end up working in a team. Like as of now, I have been given the position of senior graphic designer where I have been. So it is easier for me to say, but when it is, I would have to work with a full-fledged environment of graphic designers, probably it might get difficult. So it is better to learn the terminologies. Last point here is, don't be afraid of feedback. This thing is really, really, really important, because I myself cannot handle criticism very well. I would be like, मैंने design किया है तो अच्छा ही है. It is according to my perspective. I have to keep everything in mind, but also I have understood that over the years, a client is something which you are working for, and if they need the design in that particular way, you have to be the one to provide it. So if they just reject a design on your face, because that has happened to me a lot, because I would design, invest my time, like an hour or two in the design, and I'll be, seeing a, like a not a small person, like a disgusted face. Like I'll just turn my laptop towards them and they will be like, ew, like that I've seen. So it really definitely bugs me, but I have learned with time that criticism is something which will really help me grow. So I decided I would rather not be afraid of, feedbacks and all, because accepting it, sooner or later you are anyways going to, people are anyways going to criticize you. So sooner or later it is better to, accept it, because it will be easier for us also, or like a bit less harsher on us. Now that I have grown in this field and become a thick skin, so it really does not affect me. But when I started off, it really did bug me. All right. So then now it comes to something which really matters, that is financial income from graphic designing. Money is something which matters. I myself have a Fiverr account, and it really helped me. And I would say that, graphic designing did make me a bit more financially independent. Today, even if I'm working as a part-time graphic designer, I know that this particular field is making me slightly financially independent, and I can buy things which I really like while surfing on the internet, and from the small businesses. So it really has affected my, confidence in a way. So financial income is something which might, really increase one's confidence over the years. So first of all, the most important tip is have a hit, like a single hit. Like Nike's tick, like the check mark of Nike is something which was a hit. And we ourselves understand that, okay, it's just a tick mark, but it is a, like a, it is a trademark of Nike, and that particular design is something which you can recognize the shoes of, ye jute Nike ke hai. So you can understand that. So it is something which I learned over the years. Even Jonathan Ivy, he is the head design for Apple. So when he had designed a simple product, and after that it became a huge hit, it really affected, his career along the years. Then building your own graphic designing brand. Like creating your own brand is something which I would like to do in future. I have not done by myself, but it is really helpful because graphic designing is something where it is a word of mouth. Like I myself have been hired because of word of mouth. Okay, I know a friend who's a graphic designer. Okay, I know a girl who does this. Okay, I know she has done this for me. You should try. Ask her out. Like ask her for the graphic designing. So it is like you can create your own brand, and then over the years you can start hiring designers to share your style. Okay. And look for startup opportunities. Now, this step is something which, takes a little of sniffing around. You need to know what is happening in and around. And apart from that, you also need to have some basic business sense when you start a startup. So this is like extremely new. And if you are just starting off, I would suggest to, you know, join in a ongoing startup rather than creating one. So look for a startup opportunity in and around you. Help them out because there are a lot of small businesses online which really need a graphic designer, which would, pay the graphic designer a hefty amount to just, to create a look which they like and which would, tell the world that, okay, this is my business. Then there is license your creative work. Now, I have been someone who has not, learned this step earlier in my life. If I had, I would have licensed at least 4 companies' logos on my name. So it is really helpful over the years. Like, for example, the Starbucks logo. The Starbucks logo is a licensed logo, and one can obviously distinguish the Starbucks logo from any other logos or any other coffee places logos. Like it is known for its logo. So basically, it really will help over the years because licensed products are something which would end up giving you money over the years. Make money from old designs. Again, it really helps with the fourth point that if you have a licensed design, then you can make money from those designs. And apart from that, there are certain designs which we might have created but are just there because the client has rejected it. So one might even post that particular design for that of a new client, and you may make money off your old designs. So graphic designing is something which is really helpful as a great passive income. Graphic designing can be a really, really, really great passive income. And apart from that, we can, create a lot of strong online presence. And when one starts graphic designing, I would really, really advise them to make a portfolio because whenever we start off applying for jobs in graphic designing, even as a freelancer, people might ask you, what have you done? So for that, it is better to have a portfolio handy, apart from a resume, definitely. Make a portfolio and keep it handy so it will be easier for you to apply wherever you want for your graphic designing job. Apart from that, I really learned lately that we can create designs even for Canva, paid designs, and curate the templates. Like basically in free pick website, the templates are provided. We can create that and we can get them licensed, and then we can sell it off. So people are paying for this all. People do pay for premium stuff because it is what they have understood and learned over the years that digital marketing is very necessary. Digital presence is very necessary, and it really helps over the years. So that is like the entirety of graphic designing, which I myself have learned over the 4 years. And if there are any particular questions or queries, I'm open to it. And if anyone can definitely reach me out via my LinkedIn. And that's it from my end. If any questions and queries, I would like to entertain those.
Thank you, Sakshi. That was a very informative session for all the designers out there. Now, let us look for any questions. We'll wait for some questions. And the first question is where to look for inspiration.
Okay, to look for inspiration. So basically, I myself look out on Pinterest. That is what I had said. Pinterest is really helpful. Like recently, I had to make a brochure, like not the typical, threefold brochure. It was a square brochure. Now that was something extremely new for me. I was like, how to make a square brochure? I have not, seen people use a square brochure. I just simply, went on Pinterest to just at least scroll through, the brochure ideas, and it was really helpful because not only definitely there were a lot of threefold brochures, but at least I understood that okay, this is what you call a square brochure. Because I was just informed by my client कि brochure बनाना है और वो square होना चाहिए. So then I ended up, searching around, and then it really striked me that okay, I can definitely imbibe the idea of a threefold brochure in a square brochure. So inspiration can come from like anywhere and everywhere, as I had said, but it is just simply that how much you can recollect while making the design and how much it really is beneficial on your end. Because even today in this particular graphic, this poster of mine, it definitely inspired me that okay, now I can write the form like at the topic and all in this particular way, like in a form of text message and all, and in and around. So that is something which I learned, and probably I'll be using it in my own designs over uh, a span of time. So it comes from anywhere, like anywhere. I hope that answered the question.
And the next question is what are the things that should be included on a design portfolio?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. What are the things that should be included on a design portfolio?
Okay, what are the things? I myself have included my and I have almost created more than 700 graphics by now because I have worked in various places. So my best designs I have included in my design portfolio. Secondly, I have included the feedbacks from my clients, and most important, that is like on the first particular page, how I particularly work, because I am someone who is really, really bad or probably not good at creating content. I cannot write a lot. I need someone to write for me, and then I can, put it in a graphic. So content creating is not my thing. So I learned that, and so I tell them like my design processes, the things which I require from your end is a content writer, a timetable. Like I cannot create a graphic instantly. Like I take a time and then I'll create the graphic. You cannot expect कि हाँ साक्षी चल ये बनाना है बना दे, ऐसा नहीं हो पाएगा. So I clarify that is my requirement. So this is how I work. This is what I expect from the team that can be included. And lastly, like in my recent interview, I had even included in my portfolio the things which I'm not good at, because probably they might have to get a help from outside, as I was the only graphic designer for them. So I had written that I'm not good at creating logos, or I'm not good at, creating extremely large billboards, because billboards take a lot of, uh, RAM and all, like my entire laptop would be heated up. So I had told them those issues which I might face and which might be, a problem for them. So that also can be included if you really are confident about it, that okay, I cannot do this. It can also be highlighted. And previous designs, like variations of design, like you can put up like Instagram designs, so the size of Instagram posters, YouTube designs or YouTube covers. Then you can put up videos if you have. Then I myself have put up menus because I create a lot of menus for my clients. And lastly, you can also highlight why you when did you understand that you are not good for that particular thing, like the logos and all. So those are some things which I have included in my portfolio. And feedbacks really matter. People do read it. It's not that people don't read it. And I have always said to, wherever I have worked, and like in professional societies also, I always used to tell them that graphic अच्छा नहीं होगा, कोई caption नहीं पड़ेगा. So that is something which I have learned over the years, that if the graphic is not at all attractive, people won't get attracted. So it is better that you put up those things which are really, you, which would tell them that okay, Sakshi is someone who will design minimalistic designs, not someone who will, fill up everything, and everything will be, like an entire thing is combined and all, everything is there, all types of elements are there, which is expected. So I hope that answers the question. Are there any further questions?
Yes, the next question is how to overcome creative blocks.
Oh, okay. I myself have faced a lot of creative blocks. Like after like my term in IEEE ended in this December, and after that I did not have much to do in January and February. I was employed in March, I guess. So during that time, I was facing a creative block in the starting of my employment because I did not work for uh, first of all, I did not work for 2 months in this field, and secondly, I did not know what the trends were. And I used to, like be क्या बनाऊं मैं इनके लिए. But then I understood that creative block is something which comes with time. It really comes, and there are times during event it has, struck me that okay, Sakshi, you are going through a creative block. You need to stop, and that is when I take break. I assign work. I just give reviews. But now that you are employed, you cannot be like, oh, let me just take a break. At that particular time, you'll have to work. So I tend to, like accept and to understand my creative block, like to get rid of it in a shorter period of time. I tend to stay away from the field for some time at least, and understand that why I'm facing this creative block, because there are sometimes I face creative blocks because of criticism. It really did affect me. Criticism still affects me, I would say. And apart from that, I have faced more creative blocks because of, you know, exhaustive workload. Because each month we used to do events and all, and each month I would have to start, from the starting from the bottom. Okay, Sakshi, you have to make a new graphic, new team, new color scheme, everything new. So it did catch up on me later. So to overcome that, I used to take off time, and apart from that, I have a habit of, you know, reading books and you know surfing through all this Pinterest and all those aesthetic vibes and all. So it really helps. And then after some time, you can start off slowly designing. And when I am facing creative blocks, I tend to copy designs rather. I would go with my older designs. I would give the client my older designs and give it to them because I'm facing a creative block. So those are some solutions to work during creative blocks, and to overcome that, it is just that you need to take your time off, because your brain is like creatively exhausted. So that is what I personally do.
Thank you, Sakshi. That was the last question. Knowledge is power. Knowledge shared is power multiplied. Thank you, Sakshi, for this amazing session. It was truly enlightening. I would like to extend my gratitude to the audience and hope all of you enjoyed the talk. Until next time, good night.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.